It's time to take a look back at last month and the games that were played the most. All the numbers in this list is taken from steamdb. This so far has been the easiest month to predict which games are going to be in the top 10, at least for me. We'll see if you can guess any of them. But yeah, let's take a look at the games. First up, or last up, in 10th place we have Rabbit and Steel. I totally missed this game, it looks awesome. It hit an all-time peak of 5,400 on Steam and have a 24-hour peak of 2,800. It has 97% positive reviews, crazy, and on Twitch it peaked at 14,600. The game costs around $50. I found this game very interesting as the game is all about raiding, but like high-level MMO raids, while being a roguelite action game. It has a very cute art style, and I mean the gameplay goes hard, that's what it seems like at least. There is a ton of loot in the game to power you up and take on enemies and bosses. You can play this with friends as well, up to 4-player co-op. The game has kind of a tap target style gameplay with cooldowns. It seems like a lot of fun. And yeah, I totally missed this game when I was putting together my upcoming indie games for May, but yeah, it's on my wishlist now at least. In 9th place we have 9 Souls. I'm glad to see it in the top 10 because it looks so good. It hit an all-time peak of 6,500 and a 24-hour peak of around 5,600. It has 91% positive reviews and on Twitch it peaked at 21,600. The game cost $30. I have talked about this game a few times now, and I mean, man, it looks so good. This is a fast-paced 2D action platformer with deflection as a main mechanic. You play a hero on a journey for vengeance to slay the 9 souls. I think the art style is great, the combat looks smooth and precise, and it seems like the story is well written as well. That seems to be the consensus in the reviews on Steam, alongside the smooth combat and the great art style. In 8th place we have Chrono Arc. It hit an all-time peak of 7,000 and have a 24-hour peak of 1,500. It has a 90% positive reviews. On Twitch it peaked 5 years ago. And I looked into this, it released into early access about 5 years ago, so a lot of people was excited when this dropped into early access. So I don't have any concurrent numbers on the Twitch views. The peak of players is at least from last month. Game cost $25. This is a roguelite deck builder with RPG elements. In the game you have a team of 4 characters. You can recruit characters, train them, and then build up a team. There's also a lot of synergy between the characters and their cards. All their skills and abilities in-game are played as cards. Looks hand-drawn to me, with a lot of interesting characters. It looks great. In 7th place we have Foundry. This one hit an all-time peak of 7,400 and have a 24-hour peak of 1,500. It has 83% positive reviews on Steam, and on Twitch it peaked at 22,200. The game cost $30. Foundry is all about setting up the perfect factory, much like Satisfactory or Factorio. The game seems to check all the boxes when it comes to this type of a game, with lots of building options, exploration, online play, and more complex structures and systems to introduce into the factory. There aren't that many games like this, so with some solid gameplay you might win over a lot of people that play the other titles for a long time. It dropped into early access in May, and it doesn't have a specific timeline for release yet, but they're off to a great start at least. In 6th place we have Cluckmech Oasis. I have a review for this one, so I'll link that below the like button. This one hit an all-time peak of 7,500 and have a 24-hour peak of 1,600. It has an 86% positive reviews, and on Twitch it peaked at 1,500. The game cost $10. I really enjoyed this game. A fun tower defense game where the animals are fighting the plants. To defend you have some crazy turrets. At the start of each level you get to place your base wherever you want on the map. The same goes for the turrets, and then it's all about defending and producing resources so you can build more turrets. It can be a bit much on the screen at times, a bit messy, but otherwise a fun and challenging game. In 5th place we have Animal Well. This one is one of those that was easy to predict being in the top 10, I would say. It hit an all-time peak of 8,000 players and have a 24-hour peak of 1,100. It has a 96% positive reviews, and on Twitch it peaked at 39,900. The game cost 25 bucks. This is a Metroidvania and it's made by one person, Billy Basso, and this one is published by Big Mode, which is owned by Video Game Donkey. If you put that together, you know you're in for something special, and why this game has blown up on Twitch. I haven't played this one myself, but it looks very interesting. The vibe of the game is incredible as you explore an interconnected, dense world with a lot of puzzles and secrets. It's really cool to see small games get blown up by famous YouTubers or streamers. It's cool that they kind of know what they like and find that amongst all the games out there. And when they publish it, by proxy they already have a fan base for the game. It's kind of cool to see. In 4th place we have Abiotic Factor. This one I had on my mail list. It hit an all-time peak of 21,700 and have a 24-hour peak of 4,500. It has 96% positive reviews, and on Twitch it peaked at 36,000. The game costs 25 bucks. I mean, the survival crafting genre is going strong, and Abiotic Factor falls under that genre. This one is for 1 to 6 players. I compared this one a bit to Half-Life 1. I get the same kind of feeling and vibe as you are deep down underground in a research facility. Here you are caught between paranormal containment failures as you craft, build and survive. This one entered early access in May and will stay there for about a year. In 3rd place we have Soul Mask. This one hit an all-time peak of 38,700 and have a 24-hour peak of 33,700. Insane. It has 79% positive reviews, and on Twitch they peaked at 44,800. I saw that Asmongold played this, so that might have something to do with it. I guess other streamers played it as well. The game cost 27 bucks. This one is also an open world survival game. This one is for up to 50 players per server. Can be played in offline single player mode as well. And many seem to compare it to Conan Exiles. You build your tribe from scratch here, you explore, recruit, defend and unravel the mysteries of the world. It looks like your typical survival crafting game. This one is set in South America, looks like. They seem to have put some effort into the combat with 8 different weapon types and 75 combat skills. Then you also have the masks that grant you abilities from ancient heroes. The game entered early access in May and will stay there for about a year. In 2nd place we have Hades 2. I really thought this one was gonna take the #1 spot, but no, I was wrong. 2nd. It hit an all-time peak of 103,000 players and have a 24-hour peak of 18,000. It has 94% positive reviews, and on Twitch it peaked at 99,000. I am not surprised by these numbers. Like, Hades 1 was the #1 indie game for a lot of people, including me. The game cost 30 bucks. Like I mentioned, the first one is probably one of the best indie games of all time for me. It's definitely the best roguelite game for me of all time. I've played Hades 2 for a lot of hours now, and it's really good. It's in early access, so I don't want to compare it or rank it. I want the final product for that. But the combat is amazing, the new weapons are interesting, the new spell system is fun, the upgrade system, man, they actually did something new and interesting here. Really cool. And I mean, the unlocks and the progress between runs, it's an amazing game. It's one of those games that is a must play. ViV Rising is taking the #1 spot for May. Its all-time peak of concurrent players comes from the early access, so 150,000, but even in May it hit 132,000 concurrent players and have a 24-hour peak of 31,700. It has 88% positive reviews. On Twitch they peaked at 136,500. This was, however, 2 years ago when the game first dropped into early access, so I don't have the specific numbers for now. The game costs 35 bucks. ViV Rising is developed by Stunlock Studios. They are based in Sweden, my country, so I'm a bit hyped for this. And it's so cool to see how well it's done. As I've talked about before, it's not my favorite genre of games, but I have played this one when it first dropped into early access, and I had a blast in it. I had 2 of my friends with me, and they took care of all the survival crafting stuff, while I focused on exploration and killing bosses. It's a really cool game that incorporates a lot of ideas from other games, but does it better. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm closing in at 1,000, so that would help me out a lot. Otherwise, have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.